Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Expectations with me, Craig. Game week 10. Yes, it's just hours away, the FPL deadline. And it's, game week 9. I don't even want to talk about it. It was an absolute disaster for me as I took a massive gamble. But we might delve into that a little bit later if we have time. But you don't really want to hear what I've got to say about FPL. That's why I bring in the experts. And today I'm very honored to have two experts, not just the one, and one's actually making his debut. Arya Das and Joe FPL. Boys, how are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so happy to firstly make my debut here and interact with both of you. I think this is going to be an interesting session. Game week 10 is going to be exciting, and the last two game weeks have been quite exciting to say the least in the community. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, finally get to I think meet up with you, Arya. Arya, I
Yes,
think I think we chatted a little bit during I
yes,
think Andy's space,
yes,
FPL Sonaldo and FPL Bruno space. So it's
yeah.
finally good to actually meet face
Put a
to
face
face.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
yeah, Craig, good to be here. Good to be back again on this show. Yeah, I think crazy. I think last game was crazy. Probably we'll talk more about it later, but hopefully this week we will get a little bit normalcy as compared to last game week. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, guys. And for those of you watching, I do have a very dodgy internet connection, so please do bear with me. I think there was a bit of a technical issue at the start of the show with the intro, but yeah, it's just a bit hard with a very dodgy internet connection, and it's so bad that I'm working off a hotspot. So yeah. Anyway, we'll get to it, and we'll see what happened for you boys in game week 9. Yes, a lot happened in terms of wildcard spate, different captains, and it was a disaster for me personally. But let's see your team, Joe, since we got it up here. Let's see how you did in game week 9, and just talk us through it.
Okay. It was a really roller coaster week. I if you look at my team, basically I have 5 players on 1 point, which is like
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever gotten so many players on 1 point before. And on the other side of the spectrum, I have 2 players that scored hat tricks. So it has been that kind of week. You either get huge hauls, or the team is totally in the gutter. So fortunately for me, I would say yeah, it was a red arrow for me, but it was a small one. So I'm really grateful. Uh, and yeah, I mean Salah captain, because I mean I was tempted to go for Havertz captaincy, but last minute I kept it on Salah. I think several reasons why I do that. Firstly, United wasn't really convincing against Atalanta, especially on their left side with Maguire and Luke Shaw there. They conceded 2 goals really early against Atalanta. Um, I think I've watched the highlights as well. They were really shaky on the left side. So that is Salah territory. That's one. And another, I don't know. Personally, for me, it's a psychological one. Salah plays the final match, so I mean, it's not a superstitious kind of thing. I don't agree that captaining a player in an early kickoff is something to do with superstition. No, but for me, it's a psychological one. So, which is probably one of the many reasons why I captained Salah at the last match. final match of the game week. And also, of course, he is banging on form. You know, just when you thought he couldn't go up another level, he did. Just absolutely crazy this season so far. I think definitely right now, probably the best player in the world right now. So yeah, so that's my team. Double city defense was really disappointing for me. Edison really made a huge blunder to concede a penalty, and
Yeah.
both Walker and Cancelo was on one. Both are on yellow cards, and seeing that penalty, it's really heartbreaking. You know, if not, I could have gotten, I could have gotten 100 points. You know, I was on 95.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, and I have Levermento on the bench, so and a bunch of one pointers. Looks, I mean, was a bit disappointed, but like I said, no, I was grateful comparing to the rest of the players on Twitter. So yeah, so that's the review of my team for game week 9.
Okay. How many points was that in total? Sorry.
95 -4, so 91. Ended up with 91 because I took a hit actually
91.
to bring in Havertz. My first transfer was Lukaku to Vardy, and then my second transfer was Mahrez to Havertz. So if I didn't do that, I could have gotten more points because Mahrez came in and scored at the final minute. So, but you know, I'll just take whatever I have.
So Havertz.
Yep. I think we lost. They're losing Craig.
I'm sure we'll get him back soon. No, that looks like a solid team, dude. I think you've covered a lot of bases. I
Yeah.
think I guess besides not having Foden in the midfield, I think you're pretty much sorted for this game week. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Foden, as tempting as he is, knowing Rafinha is fit, at least you know.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to stop you there. We'll talk about game week 10. We'll talk about game week 10 in just a bit, boys. All right.
Sure.
Let's go over game week 9 first. Like, Aria, this is your team for game week 9, and talk us through your team and how you set it up.
Yeah. So a little bit. Let me sort of go to game week 9 itself. So game week 9 was an interesting one because I was having a horror show of a game week when all of the Chelsea assets delivered. There was the Mount hat trick. There was Chilwell returning, James, etc. So Chelsea had a 7-0 game. So that is definitely, was giving major FOMO since I didn't own any Chelsea assets. My only Chelsea asset was Alonso, who sort of auto subbed out. But the last game of the week saved my game week. Of course, Salah captain really delivered for me. 48 points. You can't expect more points from a single player. And the Egyptian king has, of course, been uh, you know wonderful this season and has been great value, probably in the form of his life, probably the best in the world right now. There's also my standout players were Jota and Trent, who both got double-digit hauls as well. And Livramento's surprise goal saved, the defense once again. So Livramento, I think this season has been a lot of people's savior. He's sort of the Lord Lundstrom of this year's FPL.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? For all those who remember Lord Lundstrom from
Two years
Southampton
ago,
and
right?
how 2 years ago, he was everyone's favorite, enabling defender. So that was my team. I got 93 points, a big fat green arrow, right from about I think 450k to up to 255k right now, and definitely on the up and up. It's my sort of I think second major green arrow in 2 weeks, and I'm
Nice.
quite happy with where my team's at. Yeah, 93 points, can't complain, especially when a lot of people took chances on Havertz, etc. I personally sort of played it safe and boring with Salah, and sometimes safe and boring is the way to go. Um, Especially with someone who's probably the best player in the world right now, as Drew
Yep.
said. So
Yep.
that was my game week 9. Uh, pretty happy days, I must say. Every time a goal was going in, shockingly, in that Old Trafford game, I was just over the moon because I was on about 23 points before that final game, and then
Yeah.
Salah, Jota, Trent, you can see the points
Yeah.
there in the middle. Like it was
Huge.
just a
Just
massive.
yeah. I mean, I was quite the opposite because obviously, as a United fan, I was feeling the pain, and it was the worst 45 minutes of my life possibly. Um, but what I will say is, I mean, this just goes to show how FPL is. I mean, after the Saturday's round of matches, I moved up about 70,000 places, so I was in the top 50k, and then I
Wow.
just plummeted. After that, Salah. I mean, I went Kai Havertz captain. I went a bit differential because I really thought. I mean, 5 goals. He didn't get anything.
Seven goals.
7 goals.
Goals.
Sorry, 7 goals. He didn't even get anything.
He's the only player who blanked in the whole Chelsea team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my luck, isn't it? It's just
Right.
impossible to do, but you did it. And then obviously the Salah was like the nail in the coffin, really. Salah and Trent, I would say, were the nails in the coffin. You know, when that Ronaldo goal went in, I was just like, yes, okay, no clean sheet. I mean, that was my little bit of saving grace for the week, but
Was the
obviously that
offside.
didn't even work out. So I was just like, it was so typical. And to add to that, sorry, I don't want to talk about my team too much, but I just have to emphasize how much of a disaster the week was. To add to that, I took Kai Havertz out for Emil Smith Rowe. So yeah, for a hit.
Oh,
So yeah,
Oops.
oh, that's even
painful
worse.
week. Literally, I think if you look at my tweets, I think I called it one of the worst FPL weeks or something like that. I mean, it was. I've never had such a bad. But I still got 81 points minus 4, so it wasn't a total. But everyone just captain Salah, so I died. Ira, while we're on your team, we're going to go straight into your game week 10 team,
Sure.
and you can talk us some of the transfers that you've done, if any,
Yeah, I
um,
have.
and how you're setting them up.
Yeah, so this is sort of my team as it stands for game week 10. This is my bus team. So pretty much similar from last week. My transfer for one free transfer this week was basically to do Alonso off for Chilwell, and Chilwell's now on my team, and I'm very happy with that. I do feel like I'm late to the party, but it's better late than never because he's been in red hot form, and I just couldn't stand to miss out on another week where he hauls again, easy clean sheet, points on both ends of the pitch. I just couldn't wait to sort of do that. So Chilwell's in my team, Sanchez keeper, Trent, Livramento starting for me. I think there's a good chance there against Watford. Salah captain, of course. I'm not taking any chances. I don't think anyone should, especially after last week, as some of us here painfully realized. Um, so Salah captain it is for me, and I've put the vice captaincy on Vardy, who is playing Arsenal. And Vardy against Arsenal has a long and storied history. And as an Arsenal fan, he's caused a lot of heartbreak for us in the past. He's scored I think 11 goals and 1 assist
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
us, which is
Yep.
nightmarish if you ask me. So I think
He's.
in the off chance that Salah is somehow benched and doesn't play at all because of the Atletico Madrid game a few days later, in that off chance, then Vardy is hopefully going to have a party and probably come in clutch. But otherwise, the team is sort of all right. I think the only one I'm really sort of having some FOMO about are Man City assets, which I couldn't get to without taking a hit. And I haven't taken a hit this season so far.
Wow.
I haven't been convinced of taking hits personally. I think last season I took only about 6 hits, and that was already my best rank by far. So I just think hit minimization is what strategy I'm following. So unless it gets really dire, and I definitely know I won't have 11 players playing, I don't think hits are going to be something I do often. Um, but this is my team for game week 10. Feeling pretty confident. I think if people haul as they should, then I think it could be about an 80, 85 point game week for this team. But if the results go randomly, or if the variance is high, then this could be a low scoring game week for everyone. Because I feel like Salah's effective ownership is probably going to be 180, 190%. So if he
Yeah.
flops, I think everyone flops. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, that's my team. What do you guys think? I'm curious to sort of get some sort of in-time feedback. Any thoughts?
I
Because I'm
think, yeah, I think
Go ahead.
I think you probably covered most of it of your own team. I think the lack of City assets is probably a bit of
Yeah,
FOMO there, and
definitely.
Tony as well.
Yeah,
Mbomo, I'm not sure whether he's going to start. I
yeah,
think he should. I think he should. But usually his minutes are limited.
Yeah.
He usually gets subbed out often, and Tony is the one who usually finishes the whole match 90 minutes. And then Tony also scored in the midweek. So I don't know. I
I
mean,
would. I mean, one thing I would say, just looking at that, I feel you may have a Ben Rama problem.
mm, I
interesting.
mean,
Yeah,
I
and
yeah
and
I
and I think with Arsenal's fixtures, I think you can get into that from Ben Rama.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fair. I do think though that Benrahma scored the winning penalty in the cup to knock out Man City. So hopefully there's some sort of confidence that he has going into a very leaky Aston Villa team that have been
Yeah,
conceding a lot of goals. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that Benrahma has some joy, though he's been on my short list to move out of the
yeah,
team for like a Foden or a
yeah,
Rafinha once Rafinha
yeah,
is
exactly.
definitely fit.
Because I think you can play with him and Greenwood. I mean, I
Definitely,
think
those
Greenwood could be another one.
Those two on my chopping block for sure.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
question of not taking hits for doing
yeah,
that, because
exactly.
I mean Tottenham's defense isn't that great, Villa's defense isn't that great. So taking them out for a hit would be too much of a risk for my
Yeah,
Yeah.
appetite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with this game week.
Yeah, I mean, I started the season with both Antonio and Benrahma. I think profited from them
same. Yeah,
for first 3 game weeks, and then after that, I think I ditched Benrahma pretty early. I
Good.
think about game week 4 or 5, because I can't see him, maintaining his scoring run. I think the last point I got from him, it was the deflected goal against was it against Man United? Yeah, 10 points. Then
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that,
10 points.
then
Yeah,
up, then after that,
against United, Man
yeah,
United.
then after that, I ditched him because I personally I can't see him sustaining those points, because he likes to shoot.
yeah, he
Yes,
does.
he is a trigger happy a player, but he usually shoots from range,
Yeah,
and I don't know. You need to be really like consistent with your shots, and your accuracy and placing, to pull off
yeah,
goals week in week out. Whereas Antonio, he still maintains his what he does best, and then in terms
yeah,
of XGs, he's still right up at the top. But I also removed him from my wildcard team, because I wanted to go on Tony, and unfortunately I brought in Armstrong as well during my wild card, and since then he never started. So still don't know what to do with him. With Breuer out, I think I might have to play him this game. I mean, yeah, this game week. So
yeah.
maybe I'll talk more when we look at my team.
We'll go into it there straight away then.
Yep.
Sure,
Since
let's.
you're on it, we'll go into yours, Joe, straight away. Let's.
Yep. So I think is it too small? Is it fine? Okay.
Sort of fine.
You can make it a little bit bigger, I think, if possible.
There we go.
Let me just. Yep.
Yeah, there
Like
we
this.
go.
Okay, so I think there was a debate in Twitter whether to play Ramsdale or Foster, but if
Yeah.
you ask me, I personally think Ramsdale is more on form in terms of Arsenal defense as a whole compared to Watford's, and also Ramsdale himself. He is more on fire. If you get what I mean, as compared to Foster, I think Foster, he last game week, although Watford won the game pretty convincingly, Foster, the way Foster conceded that goal against Richarlison, it's not really doesn't
Yeah,
foster confidence in me, because his positioning was way off. His positioning
Wordplay.
was way off, and yes, it was a great diving header from Richarlison, but personally, I thought Foster could have done better with that goal, but and Southampton is a team that is, I think, slightly picking up form. Yes, Broya is out, but I think do they get JWP back? I think they do, right?
I'm not too sure if he's
Let me
fit.
just do a quick check on. Let me just do a quick check on James Ward-Prowse. Let me just do a Ward-Prowse. Yep, I think he's back. So James Ward-Prowse is back.
He's back.
Against
Not flagged.
against Watford. I think he should be back. He's not flagged, so he should be back against
Okay.
Watford. So that should be a huge boost for Southampton as a team. It's still a 50-50. I wouldn't say Ramsdale is definitely a better pick, but if you ask me, for me, Ramsdale is my set and forget keeper, whereas Foster is my backup. So to
Well,
say,
he's a 4.0 keeper, isn't he? Foster,
Yep.
essentially.
He just rose in price today, so it's 4.1 now.
I mean, yeah, you know what I mean. Essentially, those 4.0 keepers, are really, unless they get a really good fixture, and I don't think many of us expected Foster to be the number one keeper at this point, because obviously it was Bachmann, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That started
Yeah.
off the season.
But
Yeah. So,
I mean, I was.
Yeah.
I-
Anyway,
I-
really good team. Yeah.
I'm curious what your overall rank is right now.
No, I was just gonna
How
say-
do you start? Yeah.
45K.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yep. So I think the rest of the team speaks for himself. I think Walker and Cancelo, I think they both will start because they both take turns each 45 minutes in the midweek. Rafinha against Norwich, I think should be a no-brainer if he starts.
Yeah.
Especially he plays on the right side against Norwich's
Has there been an update on him?
I don't think so, but I think
think-
the
There was, though. I think there was some news that some local Leeds paper did say that Rafinha is expected to be fit. Now, will he play
Has
the
he trained
90?
this week? Because I mean, Bielsa doesn't give much away in his
Yeah, I
press
mean,
conferences anyway.
the only thing Bielsa said was, he is likely to feature.
fit.
So,
Yeah.
but
Okay, that's as good as playing then.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, of all the managers in the Premier League, I think, we should be able to trust him.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Havertz is definitely a hole for me. He did score in the midweek, a header from a corner, if I'm not mistaken. I think against a leaky Newcastle side. Just hopefully he delivers. Mount, I don't expect him to repeat what he did last week, but definitely a hole for the next few game weeks for me. My only dilemma, I mean, so far I'm going to hold my transfer. I don't see any transfer.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what transfers you've made from last week. I mean, what about this Armstrong situation?
Yes, this is my dilemma right now. If you look at my bench, I have Levermento.
Yeah.
And Breuer is out. James Ward-Prowse is back. Armstrong played the whole 90 minutes in midweek. Will he start?
Yeah.
I think personally I expect him to start, and I think with Breuer out, confirmed out against the Watford, against Watford, I think this is probably as good as it gets for Armstrong. As good of a chance as he
Who else
gets
do they
to
have?
be.
Che
Sorry.
Adams, right? Che Adams is
Yeah,
there also.
Shea Adams.
Yeah.
But there are reports coming in that Armstrong. I mean, not reports, rumors. My Shea Adams might partner Redmond instead, and Armstrong gets benched again. But personally, I think Armstrong should get his chance. I think they paid about over 20 million for him. I think he deserves this chance to show what he can do. So currently, I am playing Armstrong. Probably this is my last, sort of his last dance in my team. And then after that, I'll probably take him out. I don't know, for either Huang or Broya or Edouard or even Benteke. Who knows? Because Benteke, I think we all laugh at we all laugh past few seasons, but I think this season he is getting the right amount of service from Olise, from Gallagher, from Zaha, or even Edouard. They Palace is looking like an attacking team again. It's not just Zaha alone
Yeah.
anymore.
I think it's a Patrick
Elise,
Vieira effect,
Elise.
right? I think Vieira's really done a good job there
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
turning them
I
around.
mean that Palace team really looks exciting, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if Eze comes back, wow. If they gel, it will be a joy to watch. So
Well,
Benteke,
Benteke, yeah, I think that's the crucial, person in that attack. I mean, he's
Yep.
starting to show glimpses of the player that he was at Aston Villa.
Yeah,
which,
exactly.
Which
he was a
he
monster
could be,
in his Villa.
yeah, he could be very attractive, especially with his
Yeah.
price tag in
Yep.
the near future.
I
Yep.
think his heading ability is probably some of the best in the game.
Yeah.
He's just tall, big, and he can reach those headers really
Yep.
well. Just
Yep.
that he's got potential this season, but I just personally it would take me a little more convincing and some more consistency to really sort of buy the hype. But for now, I think it's a wait and watch.
Yeah, if you look
Definitely.
at Benteke, I think his stats, I think he's been doing pretty well, scoring last two
Last two,
games.
so a bit of an inform pick, yeah.
Yep, and it's only 6.3.
Yeah,
6.3
massive.
and 1% owned. So
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think you look at someone like Tony and his price tag and his returns, and then you compare it to someone like Benteke.
Yep.
I mean, it could be an easy switch. Armstrong as well. The players that own Armstrong, and you look at Benteke at 1% ownership. Yeah, like I said, when the fixtures get better, which it does in the next couple of weeks, it could be something to monitor.
Yep, definitely. I mean, if you have Armstrong that you don't even know whether it's going to start or not,
Yeah,
it seems like a no-brainer for someone that is on form and having good fixtures. So,
well,
Yep.
definitely something to monitor, especially this game week as well, seeing how Palace get on and things like that. Right, boys, that's been fantastic looking at both your teams
Thank you.
ahead of game week 10. Just a reminder, to everyone that's watching, it's got about, what do we have, about three and a half hours before the deadline, so plenty of time to make changes to your team. If you have any questions, do put them in the comments. We'll try our best to answer all of them. And we're going to get to that straight away, actually. Let's go to questions from the FPL community. Yesterday, I did send a tweet out, and we did get a few questions, which we will get to. But let's see some of the questions that have popped up on the side here for the people that are watching this live stream. I saw a really good one. First was obviously to Joe. Joe, you need to get a Chelsea defender. There's a bit of blue missing at the back line there.
What's the thinking
Yeah,
there? Like, was it City over Chelsea? Was that the thinking so far?
yeah, because I think I think I played my wild card, I think on game week 8. So I had many drafts. Probably you guys know as well. There was a draft that I actually had Chilwell and Mendy in, but yeah, I mean, like, hindsight, things like that. Because if I purely looked at the expected goals conceded. Chelsea, yes, they are keeping clean sheets, but I think Mendy was superb. He has been superb week in, week out. If you look at the expected goals conceded by Chelsea, it's pretty high as compared to City's. So and I also wanted to jump on triple City on my wild card. So which is why I went for double City defense and I started with Mahrez against Burnley. Obviously, didn't pay off, but that was my thinking during the wild card. And then after that, yes, I think Chelsea defenders are doing really well, but I opted for double Chelsea attack instead, which
You can't say
Havertz
it
didn't
didn't pay
really.
off because you had Mount there, did you?
Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted I
Yeah.
wanted to go. I wanted my plan was Lukaku and Mount, but Lukaku injured and sort of spoiled the plan, and then I shift to Vardy, and then after that, Mahrez didn't perform, and I had to, move him out as well. So I opted for double Chelsea attack instead of Chelsea defense, because I think it's still quite a roulette sort of thing, because I think Pep this season has been much more consistent in terms of his team selection. I think he is really sticking to his word at the start of the season. When he says those who plays well will continue to get their chances, and I think we are actually seeing that right now. Initially, it was with the defense, and then after that, now we are looking at Foden, and then Jesus as well. So yeah, I mean, I am still sticking to double City defense, especially this week against Palace, and hope for the best because last game week, like I mentioned, so close. If it wasn't for that Edison blunder, I would have gotten a double clean sheet. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just got to stick to the plan, at least for this week, and then we'll
Okay.
see how it goes from there.
All right. Mark says start Tino this week. I thought everyone learned their lesson from the last 3 games. I've got to bring this up because me and Mark were speaking on Twitter. I think it was with Swang or Nitro. I can't remember who it was. And he told us. I think it was Nitro actually. He told us before the last deadline last week. He said play play Livramento, and I obviously didn't. And that was 9 points wasted on my bench. And
Me
Yeah.
too.
yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw Livramento's name pop up on my screen, Mark was the first person I thought of straight away. And well, I'm just glad it paid off for him. And yes, guys, Livramento, play him. I know he's still on a
I
couple
am.
of benches. He's
No,
still on
I'm
my
playing him for sure. I feel like he's proven himself, whether it's like clean sheets or attacking returns. I feel like at that price point, it's an unbeatable value. I just think
Yeah.
it's so unless you've
My
got
my
like yeah,
yeah. My
plenty of
problem is that
Chelsea and
I've got
City. Yeah,
yeah, exactly that area. My problem
yeah.
is that I've got double City, double Chelsea.
Mm.
I just can't fit him in unless I play five at the back, which I'm not a fan of. But anyway, Mark, yeah, for those of you out there who are debating, should I start Livramento? Mark will tell you exactly why you need to start Livramento. And I'm going to add this small little bit there that he is a Saints fan. So maybe a little bit biased, but who knows? um, Schwaba Sharma says bench headache, Huang versus Embuemo.
Ooh.
Now, Embuemo, we know, is likely to start, I would say. Had a bit of a hamstring issue. But Huang
Yep.
is more or less nailed on now in that Wolves side.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you spot on. I feel like both have good attacking potential this week. Good fixtures, good form, and you really can't go wrong either way. But I do feel like hamstrings are usually harder to recover from. So I'm not sure, even if he does play, will he play the full 90? Will they risk it? All of that. If he does play, there's a massive, you know, points to be gained there because he's been probably Brentford's, besides Tony, the most sort of player with the highest attacking potential. I think he's
Yep.
already hit the post about 6 times this season,
Yep.
which is crazy because few inches here and there, and those would have gone in for a goal. And if so many goals would have totally ended this debate a long time ago, you would have
Yeah.
totally said,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, totally MPMO." But I think, given that this game week in particular, that there is an injury concern, I in that particular debate would probably choose Huang, and I think could be a safer, more nailed down option. I think it's
Yep.
safety over, and I think they'll have similar points even if
Yeah.
they were to play 90. So I think choose the more nailed on option versus the slightly risky option, in my opinion. Don't hold it against me if in case it backfires though. So
I'll post Aria's address up on Twitter.
ah,
Okay, we're going to jump to the next one. Honey Ryan asked, with 3.5 million in the bank, is it wise to bring in Mount and Hudson-Odoi for Saka and Townsend? Jean, I'm going to come to you for this as a Mount owner. Hudson-Odoi, I'm not too sure about, but yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've actually watched the match. I think Hudson Odoi was, he was getting into really good positions. I think especially in their counter attacks, when Hudson Odoi plays on that left wing, he really carries the ball right almost into the box, and then he just loves to shoot from there and things like that. But that's against Norwich. Will Newcastle be as poor? I really have no idea. Newcastle's playing at home, as opposed to last week's game. Chelsea's playing away at St James's Park. So I don't know. For me, I think Mount, like I said just now, if you expect him to score a hat trick, I personally I don't see it. Probably he would probably get at most a return, either a goal or an assist, but I can't see more than two returns, or I mean, at a max two returns if we are lucky enough to chase the points. But I'm probably not sure whether Hudson-Odoi is going to start again or not. And then especially for Saka and Townsend, I think Townsend, he is a really good player to own in terms of
yeah,
value. Yeah, he takes the set pieces. He loves to shoot. He
yep,
has great technique, long shots. I think Richarlison should play, so he should be off penalties. I think, but Townsend is still a good value player that
yeah,
plays week in week out. Whereas Hudson Odoi, I don't know, he might not even play this week. And then Saka against Leicester. I think Leicester is also a somewhat leaky team.
yeah,
Um, so Saka might be able to do some damage. I think if you want to bring in, you want to do a transfer, I think you can just bring in Mount, but probably not Hudson Odoi if you ask me.
yeah. I'd agree with that. I think Mount has
Okay.
last week's
Um,
heroics. You can't argue against Mount this week. But I personally wouldn't make those two transfers for sure. Maybe one of
Yep.
them at best. Yeah.
Yep.
I think with Mount, I think we all kind of agree he's a really good player. But the one thing he always lacked for being a really good FPL asset was goals and assists. You know, and I mean the hat trick. I don't think anyone would have seen coming. And
Yeah.
those who did pick him and did select him, it was just because he was nailed on. He's probably one of the most nailed on players in that team.
Yeah.
And that's really it. That's the safety bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll come to Mark now, who asks, are you guys keeping Antonio for his run form from game week 16, or are you selling to swerve those awful fixtures coming up?
That's a good one, actually. That's a very good question because I feel everyone has Antonio, or at least most people do. So this is a question that many people will be asking themselves. Game week 16 onwards, Antonio has a fantastic run of fixtures, so he's definitely a must own at that point. I guess the only reason to not sell him would be that we've built up a lot of team value with Antonio's price point. So by selling him and trying to buy him back, you will be losing a lot of your team value as well as buying him back at a much higher price than you would have initially bought him. Because everyone would have bought Antonio very early on in the season. And now that you're selling him around game week 10, 11, 12, it's just going to be very pricey to bring him back into your team. So just keep that in mind when you're making these transfers out for players that have built up a lot of value from the beginning of the season. So if it's possible for you to fix other fires in your team or to prioritize other spots in your team while maybe keeping Antonio on the bench for maybe fixtures like Man City and the like, I feel like that could be a way to go as opposed to selling him because, like I said, later on in the season, as a lot of experienced managers would tell you, that finding those zero point 0.01, zero point 0.02 value is extremely important. And sometimes you aren't able to get to some of the players that are really popping off at later points in the season because you didn't prioritize team value early on in the season. So just keep that in mind when thinking of selling Antonio. I would currently advise against it and bench if possible. But I mean, if you have luxury transfers, luxury free transfers that you can afford to bring him back for, then sure, I can understand why just on fixtures alone that you'd want to put him off. But I would advise against it and bench if possible. That's my advice on Antonio.
Nice. Very good stuff there. We're going to move on to the next question, Joe. Quick fire for this. Keep James or get Chilwell for him?
Wow.
Oh,
I
both wing backs scored last week. I'm just gonna put that out there.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, both wing backs scored, but actually Chilwell, he looks more convincing if you ask me. He's practically playing wing back. I mean, no, not wing back, playing left wing, and then he tracks back a lot. He gets into great positions, and his shooting technique. You know, he loves to pull the trigger from long shots from inside the box. I think Chilwell is probably the player to go for. But if I have James, personally, I probably wouldn't I probably wouldn't replace him with Chilwell. I would prefer to double up instead, if possible, because I think you know it's like a jackpot. Today it might be James, tomorrow it might be Chilwell, but at least if you have both, you get things covered. But if you don't have a Chelsea defender, I think Chilwell is definitely the player to go for.
Yeah.
But if I have James, I personally would double up instead of replacing James.
Okay,
Makes sense.
good
Yeah.
stuff. Sankalp says, "Good to see you, Joe. Joe FPL in real. Not the first time. You've obviously a very new viewer to our show, and do subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll see a lot more of Joe in the flesh." Interesting stuff. Interesting from Sankalp. Actually, I've got to go into this just quickly. Don't need to elaborate too much, but I got in Ronaldo and Mount for Lukaku and Mahrez. Feel United's assets will be undervalued in the coming 3 weeks. A lot of scope for counters. Very interesting because I think, if anything, everyone's kind of getting rid of United assets and staying away. But he's gone the opposite way, which, I mean, you talk about differentials at this stage of the season. I mean, you talk about real differentials there in Ronaldo, because I think his ownership must have plummeted.
Plummeted, yeah.
I mean,
let me just do a quick check. I think he's just dropped in price as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his current ownership, still pretty high, 31.4%.
I feel like a lot of the casuals will still own Ronaldo, whatever happens, because A, they're Ronaldo fans, or they're United fans, or they have a team or a dead team, going since
Yeah.
ever since Ronaldo came in. Because I'm sure
True.
there was a massive spike in
Yeah.
Ronaldo ownership as soon as he was announced, right?
I
Um,
think it went up to about 50, didn't it? It went up to about
I think it
50%
did. I
when he
think
got.
it did. Yeah, it's a massive drop off
Yeah.
in ownership, as well as like a small drop in price. So I mean, the fixtures do turn for United, I think game week 12 onwards. So a lot of
Yeah, they
people
do.
will be
Yeah. Yeah.
rushing to get back Ronaldo. Just that Ronaldo's price is sort of stagnant, as it were, like when he was first introduced to the game. So in a way, it's sort of there and thereabouts. So unlike the Antonio one, where Antonio's gone up considerably, Ronaldo's sort of in the same bracket as he were when he was first introduced to the game. So you don't have the same issues with Ronaldo as you would with other players in your team. So I do think that there will be an influx of Ronaldo ownership come game week 12 onwards when United's fixture swings. Just that the next few fixtures for United look pretty bad, and United's attack also isn't looking very strong. But if in case someone has to score a wonder goal, it's probably going to be Ronaldo in that team. He's been saving them in the Champions League multiple times, and yeah, I don't think with the amount of pressure that the manager is under, I mean, he'd face a lot more scrutiny if he were to drop Ronaldo in the Premier League often, because that'll only raise questions. And right now, I don't think the United manager can really afford to raise more questions of his, managerial style. So I can see why someone would hold on to Ronaldo. It's just that there's so many good options. I think Vardy is
Yeah.
a good option until
Below.
then.
Below.
Um, so I personally wouldn't endorse that, but in case you have other players in your team to other fires to fix, I would understand that in that scenario.
Okay. We forgot that Mark was on here because we were looking at JWP just now, and he's a Saints fan. He knows everything about Southampton, and he says JWP is back. So that's massive news for you. Schweng also said Ward Prowse is back. So a lot of love for Ward Prowse and maybe Southampton assets as well. Swing says, what to do with Armstrong, bro? I think that's targeted at you, Joe.
Yeah.
And I think you said you're going to keep for now, especially
I,
with
I think
James Ward-Prowse
I
back
think I'm gonna
and
play him this week.
Broja
I think.
injured. There
Yep.
you go. Yes. Well, that's a lot of confidence there, Joe. Confidence that he'll start, that is. Um, but Mark does say this. I will say Diallo has impressed in JWP's absence, so there is a tiny chance he might not get straight back into the 11. Of course, Prowse is captain, so he likely starts, but I'm not sure it's 100%. So, not 100% because Diallo's done well, but yeah, as captain, usually captains kind of walk straight back into the side. And I think we all expect James Ward-Prowse to do just that. Johnny Dorji says Walking and Cello may not play tonight. I think one
Where's
of them
he?
would have to, right?
Yeah, that
One of
would
them would have
be.
to play at right back. I mean, I think at left back you got Zinchenko, but I think he played the whole game midweek, and Walker and Cancelo kind of split the minutes. Um, so yeah. Anyway, um, Mark says Swenmate just start Armstrong. I think Broja is injured, so Michelle will think you're taking on that advice. He does say Pep may start Zinchenko. Let's see if there are any questions here before we go into Twitter. Swag starting Livramento over Armstrong now. A lot of chat here. I love it between you guys. Just trying to get to some questions if there are any. Mark, Craig, I'm biased and proud when I speak about Tino, and you have every right to be, mate. Every right to be after that shout last week. So if he returns again, I'll probably captain him next week. Currently starting Livramento. Okay, here we go. Got a couple of questions here. Who's the most likely to score later, Kane or Ronaldo? Oh, the tale of two awful defenses. Boys, take it away.
Whew. Wow. This could be anyone. I think both defenses are
Yeah.
so woeful.
Yeah.
You'd be hard
think
pressed to
maybe
think.
I think maybe
Maybe
both will
both will
score.
score. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
both will score because the defenses are very obliging. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think if any game they have to score, this probably is the one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the fixture doesn't get any bigger for Kane. And I think United, there's a lot of focus on them right now with that shocking 5-0 last week. So they will be looking to bounce back and alleviate some of the pressure on the manager. So I think this game has some goals written all over it. I doubt it'll be like a 0-0 because both need to sort of get some results going. So I don't know. I think there's a possibility for both to score.
Yeah. I think so too. I think this is the game where they people call it the El Sacico. So both teams will want to show, I think, show that they could do something. So I think we should expect goals.
Okay. Perfect. So high chance that they both score. Nicholas Core says, I still have Ronaldo. Uh, do I bid him next game week? If so, for whom? United have a great streak coming up.
Wait, Nicholas, isn't this FPL Nitro?
Is he?
No, I don't think so, because he usually comes on as Nitro. I don't know, I could be wrong actually.
Yeah, he is. I
I
think.
don't even know. I don't even know Nick's last name, to be honest with you. I just
Yeah, I
know
think
it's
it's
Nick
him.
Nitro. Is
Still
it him?
have, still have Ronaldo been next week, next game
Mm.
week. If
So next game week is Man City, which I understand why you'd
Yes,
want
it is
to.
Nitro.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it
Uh,
was him.
wow. No, I can see why next week people would want to bin him because it's Man City. But then there's Watford right after that, and then Chelsea, and then Arsenal. So it's I can see why people would jump off Ronaldo, but that Watford fixture does look super nice though. So I can see why you'd hold as well. You know what I mean?
me,
But I
Yeah.
think
me,
then after that, game week 15 to 22 is of course all green. So it's something you'll have to really think about closely. I think next week you should
Sorry,
definitely bench.
just to add to the question, yeah. Just to add to the question, Aaron, sorry. He's already used his
Only use
one free transfer
one.
on Chilwell, so it'll be a hit to take him out.
Oh, then absolutely
So
not.
it'll be after this game. It's after this game week when they play Watford.
No,
You
no,
said
no,
right? No, no,
not for
City,
it.
City,
Oh, I
City's
think
next
bench
week, right?
Ronaldo as opposed to taking a hit to take him out. I feel like taking hits itself is not something unless you have a very good sort of replacement who's very good in form as a great fixture. I wouldn't take minus points to get someone out, especially considering the next week is Watford. So it's like wouldn't
I
you
think
want
United
him
play.
that
I think United play City right next week.
City and then Watford and then Chelsea?
yeah,
City and then Watford.
I think what Nick said that he is going to bin, he plans to bin Ronaldo
Next week.
next game week
Yeah.
as they
Yeah,
play against City. If so, for whom? You know, so I don't know. You can look at Vardy.
Vardy.
The usual Vardy or Jesus or who knows? Even Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang
Yeah,
is playing against Watford
yeah,
at home
and
on game week 11. So probably he is also a player that you can consider.
and Vardy is playing Leeds, so Leeds is
Yeah,
definitely one of the worst defenses right now. They're
yeah, yeah.
short on a lot of players, so Vardy against Leeds could be your transfer there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm just going to go straight on to the. Okay, we've got some questions coming in. Sorry, let's try and finish these up. Livramento and Aspie, who's bench? I have Chilwell already. Should I spread the risk and play Livramento? Wasn't always likely to get a goal against any opponents. Thoughts, guys?
Hmm. Close.
Tough
Oof.
one, this one.
Tough one, tough one.
I've chilled already. Should I spread the risk and play Livramento? I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and say yes, spread the risk. I like spreading the risk in defense because one freak goal, one freak penalty, one freak decision, and you've lost both clean sheets. Although I think Chelsea have a very high chance of a clean sheet against Newcastle. Wilson has been in form. Um, I think ASM looks really good on the pitch. He does a lot of good dribbling. Can they
yep,
break Chelsea's defense? I doubt it. But if you like spreading the risk and feeling safer, Livramento is definitely going to do decently as well.
yep,
Potential on both ends of the pitch. Um,
yep,
and with Chelsea, with Aspie, sometimes he may not play. Come on
yep.
for 1 pointer. You don't want to risk that either. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe not a bad idea to spread the risk.
Yep, yep. Good point. I agree.
Okay, I'm just going to go to some of the Twitter questions that came through yesterday when we posted
Sure.
the tweet up. FPL_Raj asks, Gundogan or Bernardo Silva, who will be better for this game week and who's more nailed to start in the next two Premier League games?
Ooh,
I would say Silver.
yeah.
I think
I
Yeah.
I think the way he plays for Man City, he's really like the engine right now in their midfield. Pulling those passes and carrying those balls from defense to attack. Uh, Probably the form of his life at the moment. So I would say Silva.
Okay. And you agree with that, Arya?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Silva. I just feel like the way he plays. I feel like Pep is really he's in the good books of Pep, and I think that um, I think he's going to slot in more often than not in that City team because I feel like the rotation is going to be elsewhere. It's going to be between sort of Sterling, Mahrez, the more attacking sort of players in that team. So I think Bernardo Silva is sort of a safer choice of the two. Um, yeah, so I agree with what was said earlier. I think that's sort of where I'm at as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Varun Agarwal asks, thoughts on Jesus in place of Lukaku?
Hmm. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Good.
yeah,
Good choice.
good. Yeah, good
Yep.
differential
So
pick.
Jesus, we're all in favor of that. Cliffhanger asks, how overrated is Rafinha over Jared Bowen?
I think he's rated appropriately.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
I don't think he's overrated. I mean, if you watch him
no,
play, he really pulls the strings, and I mean, yes, although not necessarily all his games gets you a return, but if you watch him play, he really drives the team, and I mean, imagine playing for Brazil and scoring two goals in your debut start. I don't think that is a small feat to be underestimated either. So I don't think he's overrated.
yeah, I agree. I think you saw him in the games for Brazil as well. He scored a brace in 70 odd minutes.
Yep.
He's clearly been like whenever he plays 90, he always looks very threatening, takes a lot of shots on goal, has assist potential, takes free kicks from distance as well for Leeds. So I think if Leeds are going to get any returns, I think Rafinha is going to be involved in them, assuming
Yep.
his yellow flag days are behind him, which it never seems to be. He's the most yellow flag player I've seen who plays so often. So I don't think he's
Well,
overrated at all.
we
I think,
rather yellow than red.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, anytime,
Exactly.
yeah. No, I think he's in the absence of Bamford this season. I think Rafinha might get a lot more joy, assuming he's fit and plays the games.
Yep.
Okay. Boys, yeah, I think that's it for today. Remember, just about 3 hours out on the dot, actually. until the deadline. First match is going to be a tasty encounter. But don't forget to make your
exactly.
changes. Do listen to the advice that the boys have given it. There's ample time to rewatch this stream and decide accordingly. Just want to say thank you to Aria for coming on. What an absolute fantastic debut it was. Definitely going to see a lot more of you as the season goes on.
No, it's fantastic to be on. I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, very hard man to get, Aria, but we got there in the end. And Joe as well. Thank you for coming on the stream. And I know we took some of your precious family time, so do apologise for the misses for me for stealing you away. But yeah, thanks for coming on and doing this. And guys, if you're watching the stream, please don't forget to follow the boys. It's at Arya Das and it's at Joe FPL. Do follow them. Do drop them a tweet if you have any questions in the next few hours, because I'm sure they'll be available to help you if you really need it. So do drop them a tweet. Do follow them and do follow at FPL Expectations on Twitter as well. And if you like the video, do give us a like. Do subscribe to us as well if you haven't already. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much once again for having you, and all the best for Game Week 10. This is Craig Morais, and I'm signing out.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, great one.
Good one. Yeah, short and sweet.